Good morning, fans of Rando, and welcome to even more Timespinner. We're going to do some 2v2 multi-world randomizer co-op, so welcome on in. I am Talon116. I'm joined by Zed, who's doing a lot of the restreaming background work, so hopefully they can just keep doing their part, and I'll try to do mine.
That I am still happy to be here. I definitely got a lot of sleep. For those of you that were here earlier, like really not that much earlier.
Yeah, only like 4 hours of sleep.
Something like that.
Yeah. I've got water, I've got toast, I've got Rando. I'm ready to go. So our teams today are the Hundo Runners, Batty Mass Index and Toneberry James, versus the Twsted Sinners of Pleasantly Twisted and Sin Pyro. I believe Hundo Runners had to win their first round match to make it to this second round meeting. And yeah, let's do this.
Alright, I have sent the runners on their way, so they will be starting on our screens shortly. And any specific settings you're hoping to see today?
Let's see. I do not want an early required Raven Lord. Just because I hate the Raven Lord.
That's so fair.
But I want to see some more of the new lab locks. You have to, what was like the experiment, the research, the Ginza, and the other one. I think that's kind of a cool little thing. It really adds another level of stuff to find. Ooh, early pink on Batty's side.
Early pink is always nice. We love early pink.
Oh, and the top runners are gonna go visit the pyramid.
This is what I wanted.
Here we go. Okay, so the multi-world, how it's kind of set up is one person's in the present, one person's in the past, and or one of those runners can end up in the pyramid.
It's actually 5% chance each, so
they could,
in theory, both end up.
You could have, okay, so yeah, that's gross. So yeah, this will be fun. So the top runners are gonna have to do a little bit of grinding and hope that their partner sends them some good stuff. Oh wait, succubus hairpin, everything's fine.
I got somebody's stream backwards. It's fine, we'll fix it in post. And by post, I mean
fine. Never.
Now.
Okay, so a little bit of background in case you're joining us and don't understand this game or even know what it is. This is Timespinner. It's an amazing Metroidvania to where you go through different parts of a timeline, past, present, and pyramid, to try to gather enough items to reach your end goal. Most of the time, the end goal is the true ending, which is to beat the quote-unquote boss at the end of the pyramid. Some game modes can have it otherwise, but I mean, just go for the true ending. It's the good stuff. But in addition, that our runners are playing with a multi-world setting, which means items from one runner's game can be in their partner's game. So let's say Batty goes into this room and finds a water mask for Toneberry James. It's just a familiar. It will actually get sent to Toneberry in their game. So both runners need to find the required items for them and their partners to get them to the end goal. And the winner in this particular tournament is determined by total time. So the total time of both runners will be added together, and we'll get to see what they want to do with that. Tideworm Beacon, down on James's side.
Yes, there's definitely been some strategy with who all does like what strategy. It's been very exciting to see.
Yeah, I don't think this particular type of tournament, nice Empress robe given to from James there, it's going to really help their damage output and their defense. Yeah, I don't think this has ever been done for Timespinner before, so there's definitely a lot of, okay, what feels good, what feels great, how do we want to do X, you know. Something else we are not going to see quite yet, but we're going to see sooner than later, I'm betting, is nice vanilla boots, boring. Is the ability to hint. So as our runners collect items, they are in the background gathering a total number of checks, and once they have enough, they can actually hint for certain items in their game. and that's been something that's been a really big strategy too, between runners and teams, is when is it a good time to hint? What should I be hinting for? Oh, you see Batty
Ooh,
take a death.
early death from Batty.
Yeah, there's those enemies in the pyramid do not mess around, and our runners that are in the pyramid are incredibly low.
Yes,
Equipment.
they are starting to say the least, less than prepared.
Yeah, the runners stuck in the pyramid are really hoping that their partners are going to send them twin pyramid keys at some point to get them out of there. So yeah, one of the things we've really seen in this tournament is what to hint for, when is it best to hint, and it honestly can make a huge difference. If you're hinting for your wheel and then stumble right across it, you've just wasted those checks and have to accumulate more to hint again.
And the magic number we're looking for is 32 checks per hint, or 33 in our pyramid player's case.
So it's a pretty hefty number too, unfortunately.
Yeah, it can be quite a lot.
All right, so now we've seen that Batty has been able to hit the library, so they've gotten their twin pyramid key and can now play the game a little bit.
Okay, all done. No more fiddling, I swear. We are done there. Everything should...
Awesome.
I forgot to change the names. A little bit more fiddling, I swear. It's the last bit of fiddling.
Minor fiddling. All right, as we see what I assume to be Sin taking on their boots fight, having to get through that cavern crawl a little bit. Going vertical and not having any good strong equipment or weapons really was running into some problem. So trying to get past all those enemies there, but finally gets past it, and gonna get through this boots fight, and then I'm assuming we'll quickly find their partners' twin pyramid keys to get them out of the pyramid as well. Nice gear in the library for Batty. Something interesting too we're seeing on the Hundo Runner side is gifting. Toberry sending some warp shards up to their partner with that system to be able to, hey, I've got either cheap or free warp shards. Here are some to get you going, so you don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, that can be pretty important. Fortunately, it seems like both of our runners have access to an easy shop, but when those past players don't have access to a shop but do have those warp shards, it can be pretty important to have those because they are a massive time save just in routing alone.
Oh yeah, huge, especially if in scenes where you're locked into one side and then you get a progression on the farther. Unfortunate death there by Twsted against Boots. Going to start this fight over again. Boots having no weaknesses just can kind of just tank a lot, and with again the low equipment and the low stats, this fight can turn into a real slog.
Yep. Fortunately, we're not forced to use one of those things that Boots resists. Unfortunately, it does not look like that iron orb is doing a lot of damage. Fortunately, with how much I was fiddling, I did not get to see what exactly it was, but I'm going to guess it was either iron neutral or minus. But either way, here we are now. We're petting the kitty very aggressively.
All right, we have Tilbury James going into the Caves of Banishment, which we just saw Batty navigate some of. As both these runners are trying to find their answer.
I love Tilbury James's strategy of I'm just going to throw aura bolts at it. My hammer sucks, the aura bolt is doing a little bit more. That royal ring will help. More aura bolts to throw. More aura regeneration.
Yeah, both players on the Hundo Runners having pink access is really nice, as well as nice gear. As an additional pink door can appear blocking the royal towers as well in this flag set, so pink is even more valuable than normal.
Exactly how bad are their damage options? Well,
The worst. So far, it's the worst. It's not exactly ice minus, but plasma's minus on Batty's side too. So the top runners will have plasma minus.
yeah, we're not exactly thrilled about our damage options, to say the least. You know, earlier I was raving about how big hammer's really cool. For our player 2s, that is going to be significantly less cool for our player 2s this time. As PT finally gets through that boots at boots location. Just a real tank of an enemy when you're dealing a whopping 2 damage. Hey, and an Eternal Coat. Sorry, Empress Robes. They look very similar. As far as I'm aware, nobody got to the free gear, which would indicate that they have exclusively nerfs. But I'm not sure I've seen an inventory check from both players.
PT choosing to go down into the Caves of Banishment here rather than push forward into the library, which has significantly more checks that are probably easier to get to.
Yeah, I talked about this in a few of the races already, but the progression balancing system that Archipelago has will generally favor pushing progression earlier than later. So, clearing out those early locations and not chasing your progression items as much can be more lucrative than it can be in the single-player randomizer, where everything is effectively fully random.
Okay, so we had nice vanilla boots. Now we have vanilla bird. Sure.
But we have our massive plasma geyser minus to take on this bird. Yeah, Batty, I think sword's just gonna be the way to go. As it looks like Tomberry James is in BK farming this this vine for some experience points while they wait.
The single shot blue blast is impressive.
Yeah, it's one of the... might be the only spell that has a different effect if you don't fully charge it. I'm curious, where was that warp beacon for player 1?
I think it's on the way to the library.
That would make sense.
Yeah, what PT's doing, we've seen James already do, so it's not down here, I don't believe. Speaking of long slogs of fights with bad equipment, Batty still going at the bird.
Oh, that plasma geyser. 5 damage a tick.
That's painful
How
to
could you be
watch.
upset at that?
It's
That's
painful to
5
watch.
damage. Plasma orb is not much better. And significantly more expensive on the Oro. Not too worried about Batty taking a death here. Just gonna be here a while.
Just worry about his fingers cramping up. There it goes.
Goodbye, Big Bird. And your reward? Timespinner Gear 3. That's a lot of gears early.
That's a lot of gears.
And corruption.
Oh, yeah, corruption, just what they were wanting to see.
You know, I think I might have these streams completely upside down. It's so fine.
James gets there, a little bit of items from Batty. Is like, oh, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I do have them completely upside down. Whoopsies.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm not gonna change it. It's too late for that now.
Yeah, that's right. We're too far in. Too many things have happened. All right, Batty loves boss fights, so right into Volterilis here. Does have corruption, or does have bombardment though, so better.
I believe that was a bombardment neutral. So.
You had me at bombardment.
You had me at, yeah, bombardment. That corruption for Tomberry James. A massive 36 damage on the Vine.
Corruption, suspiciously strong, just not great, if that makes sense.
It's good in rooms where you have a lot of things to hit due to its unique effect of like summoning those souls based on how many things you hit.
Right.
But you know, I can't think of a lot of boss fights that are multiple pieces.
Right. Zarian, I guess,
Zarion,
maybe.
but I believe Zarion distinctly resists corruption.
Yep. Yeah, this is kind of your classic multi-world experience too that James is kind of suffering with of, well, my stuff has to be somewhere.
Oh, we're getting a look at all the drops. Valetian crowns. Lab glasses on the big birds. Much easier to obtain Valetian crown.
Yeah, we saw PT try to force their way through the Maw Caves as Sin is becoming even more enamored with the pyramid and all that it has to offer.
Reaching that middle save. I believe it doesn't even have any levels. Might have a level. PT, you can just jump out of the water. It's just kind of precise. There's a plus orb.
A
Blood
plus orb?
plus at the Timespinner wheel location. Oh, massive 17 damage per like projectile, the blood orb. So where are you
Just look
going,
at the
Daddy?
Roll
You got
and
a lot
damage
to
here.
do.
All right, PT looks like they're okay. They're back in this area. They should stumble upon that key pretty quickly. Stin is gonna have such a sigh of relief of like, finally, get me out of here.
Yep. Spent quite a while in BK. We'll be very excited to go and do things. You feel
There's
your
more
twin
BK.
pyramid keys attuned to the library. Never been happier to see that message. PT having trouble with the Chevrolet helicopters.
It's kind of the worst enemy you could possibly put in this spot too.
Yeah. And like you're supposed to, this is supposed to be like a pretty like informal, hey, here's where a time stop would be super useful on these moving platforms with annoying enemies. Imagine if you could, stop time and think about your moves ahead of time, so to speak.
Early wheel in this game.
Game about stopping time? The time stop item? Early?
Seems sus. Take a bump to check it on James. Still doing the Lord's work.
We're up to 18. PT and Sin having a high five. Oh, free shops for our player ones who are on the bottom this time. No, they're just going to be player two. You're going to have to deal with that. Player twos have a free shop. Here we are, Emperor Voltaireless, resisting that plasma orb. I'd swap off of that.
Yeah, in general, you have to think if they're using the same orb against you, they're probably strong to it.
I know your options are Plasma Orb minus and Blade Orb minus, but Blade Orb's still gonna be doing more damage. I hate to break that to you.
PT send the tablet for the library they just left. Feels good.
Always.
Again, the multi-world experience.
Hey, at least they can all use warp shards. Our runners yesterday were not as lucky when it came to that.
I've had a couple practices with this where warp shards just were not a thing.
Warp shards or warping in general, just not happening.
Yeah, there's been plenty of go to the castle, now go all the way back to the west, now go back to the castle.
Something these new runners take for granted. Back before Unchained Keys, when you had to route around the free natural warps in the past.
It's a really nice water mask for James there while he was sitting in the water. It was just like, oh, here you go. Oh, sweet. Just started to sink. Thanks, Rising Tides.
Had James hinted for Water Mask? Let me take a look. Yes. That was hinted beforehand.
Yeah, it's one of the fun things in this particular setup with multi-world is the hints being on and available. It makes a big difference, and it can determine games too, where we use all our points to find our vertical, and now don't have enough points to find where this last gear is, and the other team went the other way with it.
Yeah. Especially with mystery settings, the information game that you're constantly playing is pretty massive. The more information you have, the better off you are, and the more informed routing decisions you can make. And all of those just sort of compound into, being, in general, faster. When you know where you're going, everything you do is going to be that little bit faster.
Sin getting their Umbra minus. Real excited for that other minus orb, I'm sure.
I feel like they need to check their equipment. I feel like they might have some good stuff sitting in there.
They just looked at their orbs. It didn't look like it yet. PT, I was given the Blood Plus just a second ago, though.
Yeah.
I wonder if they noticed while they were bouncing around.
Oh, they have Plasma Plus, too.
Yeah. See Batty into the castle now. I'm going to see this for the first time. I didn't see if it doesn't look like they have a drawbridge key, so drawbridge not an issue this time. Though with double jump and Talaria, they probably didn't even need it.
No, you do need some sort of infinite vertical or that drawbridge key, but
Oh, okay.
it is just ever so slightly too high to just jump over.
The up drawbridge, another fun thing that was added, I think right before this tournament, wasn't it?
That, the lab lasers were finally merged just before this tournament, and Royal Roadblock, which is the additional pink door leading into Ilana's towers, are all relatively new flags that we have. Player 2's Timespinner wheel is at Emperor's Tower Courtyard Upper.
Gross.
So I haven't got it. I mean, the odds are low for dad percent. But as I learned earlier, they are never zero.
Yeah, I've yet to see a dad percent. I've only ever seen trending.
Oh, you should go watch the race that happened 5 hours ago or whatever.
In my defense, I was up at 1:30 and then I tapped out. I'm like, okay, I tried to make it. I can't do it. Sorry, runners. I wanted to support you. I just can't.
It's fine. I'll get them uploaded somewhere eventually. That way we can all just have fun with the tournament. Go watch back and reminisce about all of the terrible seeds that were rolled and what I put everyone through. Where do you want to go first, James? You got everything to do.
Yeah, the entirety of the past is available to you. Enjoy.
And it didn't look like they Well, I suppose if they had Royal Roadblock, it wouldn't display. They already have pink. But they definitely did not have Gatekeep, which is that drawbridge key setting, as they were still able to get into the castle keep. That's what it's called.
Yeah, the one big thing player 2 is really lacking right now is any kind of... Never mind.
Never mind.
Beat
There
me
it
to
is.
it.
They found it. Look, I'm a big fan of Celestial Sash, but I would still prefer, in most scenarios, to just have the Succubus hairpin that the player ones have.
Oh yeah, huge fan of the Succubus hairpin. I mean, yeah, give me all the infinite vertical I can get, but still, if I get to be greedy, I want the hairpin too.
I missed what that was. It'll pop up on the tracker soon enough. Nope, go back to the bottom of the pit. Climb back out. We love getting immediately interrupted by an item as we're trying to make jumps.
Oh yeah,
Especially the beacons, which freeze you in place completely. You ever get one of those during a boss fight? That's terrifying.
You're in a really tight, Raven Lord fight, and all of a sudden you're stuck in midair. Oh, good, I have pyramid access. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really excited about this information. You know, as a consequence here, have bees during your boss fight.
Right? How do you feel about meteor sparrows while fighting Zarian?
This is the use case for corruption. We've figured it out.
Right, there it is.
We're there. We've got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Alright, James going to go in and explore their castle a little bit, while Batty continues to fight Nuvius.
Nuvius is weak to that plasma orb we've got. Big damage. Or we could just hit him with, bombardment. Bombardment's always a good option.
You had me at bombardment.
Okay, surely those guys are all minus, and they have good stuff, right? And I just missed it. There's that plasma orb for the player 2s. That plasma plus. They're set for damage.
I think the player 2s also have the blood plus, so they weren't hurting to begin with.
Yeah, but plasma plus gets more of a benefit.
Well, plasma plus better than blood plus, at me.
I mean, you're not wrong. If you have the aura to sustain it, plasma is a significantly better orb.
Oh yeah.
Batty, I just want to see your inventory. I want to see the Empire Crown and Eternal Coat and bangle and earrings that you've just not put on yet.
Batty, unfortunately, not having the infinite vertical, it's going to have to leave the attic in the way up their chest. Hopefully they're nothing, but unfortunate ones to have to go back for later if that is locking something important. CPT has entered their BK phase. Talk.
Now, they are waiting on that water mask, probably, which is at the Maw pedestal in our screen player 1's world. Well, I suppose there are other items that would get them out of BK, but if they wanted to make their way through the rest of Maw Caves, that's what they'd be looking for. I think we already had the high five on Hundo Runners side. Hey, Eternal Coat.
Eternal Coat. Yes, please.
Can't believe you're hoarding your Eternal Coat. I'd send that right back to Batty if they didn't have one already. I've admittedly not been getting too much of their equips. Maybe because they do have all nerfs and they have their best in slots on already. Sandman and Umbra Orb? Sure. We can take the damage.
Yeah, just getting up close and personal.
We can tank the damage. It's no big deal.
Face tanking is a strat.
Big Meatball. That's hitting for a lot. I mean, much lower than you'd, expect Big Meatball to hit for, but...
Yeah, Meatball Mine is still Meatball. Like...
Yeah, you'd normally be expecting that to hit for 500 plus on an
100%.
effective.
Absolutely.
What are we thinking, Batty? What are we hinting? Ouch. Batty's water mask is at the military fortress gun orb pedestal.
Wow, gross.
Which is only a security key card. Oh, it's B and 2 lasers away. They have lasers. Good old Prism Break is on. That's always fun to realize late into a seed that you have.
Right, and this is one of those things we were talking about earlier with, okay, I know I need these 3 items. Am I to a point where I need to hint those, and then which ones do I hint? Because it would be awful to hint, lab access I, and then it's right in front of you. It's the next thing you find. Well, now you just wasted those points, unfortunately. But 'tis the risk.
The risk you run. You get information slightly faster if you're hinting before you're in a proper BK mode.
Buzzsaw activate for Batty.
And, looks like PT and Sin have finally gotten to that water mask. So now PT is going to go swimming for a little bit. Get to the rest of Lake Serene.
It's that fun part of multi-world where you're sitting and like, oh, this unlocks 5 things. I'm going. Let me go do this. 5 things.
And they still have not used any of their hints, so I wonder what the hinting strategy is going to be for them. Batty checking on how many points they have. Still plenty enough. Got like hint and then some. Oh, Batty is out of checks, I think.
Yeah, the check required amount being in the 30s for a hint is a little hefty, so...
15%. Means on average you're gonna get like 5, maybe 6 hints if it's a particularly rough seed.
James gonna go and fight Alana here. Blood just tearing her up.
Oh. Shattered orb. Maybe this one will finally be the plus orb. Nope.
Can I interest you in some more minus?
They have to be all nerfs and I missed it. I refuse to believe that I've rolled this evil of a seed for them.
I believe in you.
I mean, I believe in me too, but I don't want to believe it. Look, just because it's super early for me, it doesn't mean I need to take out my anger on these poor runners. You know, I keep looking over between the streams, and there's a lot of water in this seed. Rising Tides is, you know, just all over the place in this one. Everything is bound to be slow. As we see a Timespinner Gear 3. Our teams are tied as far as gears are concerned. All the orbs, they've been deorbulated. That's fantastic.
And James gonna finish burning their orbs. I'm assuming we'd probably go back to the present and be able to do that top route to finish all of that off as well. Yeah, we have plenty of gears, but a wheel would be nice, maybe. Just maybe.
Well, we're aware of where one of the wheels are. It's at almost the very end of the game. Gotta get through the entire lab. It's fine. I'm sure we also rolled lab as money. So we're gonna want to go through there. It's gonna be... All the downloads in the lab are gonna be progression. It's gonna be great.
Considering what some of these runners are missing, it almost has to be, doesn't it?
That's what I'm worried about, yeah. But neither of them have the B card to get over there, so... At the same time...
Everyone felt while you're in an Alana fight, sure. There's a phantom input for the jewelry box there on PT's side. For a moment, they didn't have orbs. It didn't. I don't know what's going on. Oh wait, yeah.
That happens to me. I'll set like 1, maybe 2 sets of orbs and then like miss orb swap onto my set that has no orbs and just be like, where are my attacks? Where'd they go?
Immediate panic.
It's not as bad as when you're expecting to have jewelry box and just don't. Security keycard B for our top runners at the V card terminal for the bottom runner. So, they're just missing tablet for that, so. That B card for baddie is behind a unknown tablet for Tom Barry James. As we see dueling boss fights, that Alana taking a lot of damage, and Sandman, who is dead.
Yeah, it turns out Sandman also took a lot of damage. It took enough.
Yeah, Alana is at Cantarin, I believe.
Yeah. So a pretty beefy spot.
Yep, something like 2,500 HP. Should really be using that that blood orb we have, that chaos damage type that the blood orb has. As we saw from Tomberry James, very effective against Ilana.
Yeah, PT's had the Blood Orb Plus for a while and hasn't switched to it. I don't know if they just missed that they got it or if they're just not a fan of that orb type, because that does play a factor into it too. You know, I know this orb may be better, but I just hate it.
I absolutely will avoid using Blood Orb. Like, I acknowledge it's a good orb. I hate using it.
Yeah, same.
But in this scenario...
yeah, in this, you kind of have to, I think, here. The damage output is just so great.
I mean, you're giving up, I believe it's that blood plus for a shattered neutral. Like, even if I'm only using blood plus for boss fights, that's still a roughly double damage increase, so long as I'm going at least neutral against the boss and not hitting a resist.
There, they got him. Yeah, Alana, when they're flying up in the air, that blood plus can also reach them, even if you don't have that infinite vertical. So,
Ooh,
but got
true.
through it. Got through it. Got the kill. Got to move on. That's what matters.
Always what matters. Less than optimal strategies still work. I mean, if it's what you're comfortable doing, it's better than dying.
That's right.
Dying is slower than doing the boss fight slow.
These are the real strats we come here for.
Laser M. That is one more laser. And one away from lab access, or military hangar access.
Yeah, and as we see this set having the laser access, and then potentially having to go to Dad's tower, those checks, the hints start getting really spread out because you need more and more and more things to where it really becomes what do you hint for, which has kind of been the theme here, where one team has really used their hints well and gotten the information they need quickly, and yeah, the other team I don't believe has at all. So I agree with you. I wonder if what their strat was for hinting coming into this.
Yeah, they are still sitting on all of their hint points. So they might be looking to just burst down the end game. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll
possibly.
see.
Yeah, that's actually a possibility too. You're one or two things away. Okay, where are they? Let's finish this.
Yeah, because hints are also pretty valuable when you have all of these, onesie twosies checks that you need to still go do. Which ones do I go to first? Because that does save a lot of time.
Right, yeah, you get to the point where all these one-off low density things have been skipped, and you have to start deciding, where in the map do I want to run. Okay, now you just know.
Kobo. I have no idea if that is important or not. Kobo being one of the Gyre boss familiars.
I just always assume gyres are turned on, so...
I believe it's weighted that way, but sometimes it's not, and yeah, it feels good when it's not. Less things you have to worry about. Pyro making great use of that bombardment minus. When you have no damage, make use of your best lack of damage.
The best of the worst.
Yeah, when it's that way.
Yeah, it's not a choice, it's a lack of options, so go with it.
Ooh, Genza.
Genza loves Sharp. Give him Sharp.
Give Genza a big stab. We have Colossal Blade. Hit him with the big stab.
Yeah. When I first started to learn this randomizer, it was one of the things I struggled with was remembering or knowing who was weak to what. But Genza was the one I remembered. I know he doesn't like sharp things.
For my first tournament, on my second monitor, I kept a chart for the bosses that was color-coded with all of, like, the boss's strengths and weaknesses. Just so I knew at a quick glance if I had good options or better options for a specific boss. Yes, Planeswater. If the temporal gyre is off, that means we will not see Ifrit or Ravenlord as potential bosses, even if Boss Chaos is enabled. I believe the only way you could, in theory, roll those bosses is if you have Boss Singularity or Boss Overrides. Or not Singularity, Overrides specifically, which can force them into locations. But all we have for Boss Overrides is, oops, all boots.
Alright, James gets to experience Underwater Sandman, and Zarian quickly just nullifies them and just moves on.
Plasma Plus. Plasma Plus gets more damage from being a plus orb than most other orbs. It and Gun, I believe, both get that buff. Or additional buff, I should say.
Yeah, Gun can get crazy strong.
Unfortunately, Gun is kind of a pain to use.
Agree.
Oh, there's the tablet. It's at the...
It's the burnt vines in the present
Thank
at the
you.
start.
The first vines you see. So that is going to be... Oh, what was that locking? The security keycard B. Light wall minus. That is infinite vertical for baddie mass index. Honestly,
And there's Batty's B card.
Honestly, if I'm light wall plus succubus hairpin, I'm not complaining too much.
No, that's good stuff.
Like if I had to pick between light wall and hairpin or just sash, I think I might take light wall hairpin. I like hairpin that much.
These are the hot takes that you come here for, everyone.
The additional horizontal movement that you can get out of hairpin is what I like.
So it looks like the wheels at the tower courtyard. I can't read that small speech or that small text, so I just saw wheel courtyard.
Yeah, Emperor's Tower courtyard upper chest in That is the bottom player's location for top player's wheel.
Oh, didn't we already know that?
Yes, that was hinted already.
Oh.
We got new hints out, and I did not catch those. At least I think we got new hints out.
Yeah, I was trying to read them. Just couldn't.
Let's see. Oh, it was a hint for gas mask, which is at the Lab Century Platform Terminal in that top player's world. Out of logic, Geyer. No. So Geyer's enabled. That Kobo is important. Your own security keycard B. Oh, Batty, you need more hint points. And also, I think you need to hint. I think you're missing the idle one. Those should really be an item group.
Seeing PT over here taking on the Raven Lord. Has not got their sash yet, so no infinite vertical. So this fight is awful.
It certainly is. This fight gets much easier once you have any vertical. Actually, I won't say any vertical. Light wall does not make this fight significantly easier. Time stop, sash, or that succubus hairpin for the double jump makes this fight so much easier to deal with.
Who's the worst, and why is it Raven Lord?
Otherwise, you kind of just get bullied into the spikes like we saw for PT there, unfortunately. And at the Big Bird location, we can come back here later. That's not something we need to worry about this moment. We know that's indirectly guarding our tablet, but we've got other things to do in the meantime. We can go find plasma.
Well, they keep on this path to the east. Eventually, they'll get to the check that has their sash. It's just past the camp. Just past the camp, just before the castle.
It's in that false wall.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bat Ledge, but that's not Bat Ledge. It's Bat Cave.
Bat Cave. Oh, pyramid start. You got one more check to go do. Got one last added check for from the pyramid start. $300 on that plasma orb against Dad.
Okay. I'm still relatively new-ish, I guess. Is that check in the pyramid always been there, and I just never knew it?
That check in the pyramid is only there if you are on the pyramid start. There are 3 added checks if you're on pyramid start.
Oh, okay. Well,
just
luckily enough, I haven't had to do that yet, so...
Yep, there's one up there next to the vanilla gyre entrance. there's one.
Nice wheel.
That was a double wheel.
Yeah, it was both the wheels in the same room. That's exciting.
Dad's hoarding wheels in his tower. Dad,
It's a
maybe if you
motorcycle
diversified in your Timespinner pieces, you'd actually be able to use it. But instead, you're just hoarding wheels.
I know this wheel is the key to stopping time. I'll
That's why
just
I have two.
more wheels.
Surely with enough wheels.
Well, here's the cool in-game progression and fun stuff we were missing the entire time. Have a shadow seal.
Have a shadow
Have
seal.
a couple wheels.
There's a gas mask.
Have a gas mask.
Finally getting it unlocked with that. Tablet getting obtained, so that we can go get the B card and making our way into the military hangar ourselves.
James abusing the cheese spot for a freak. Goodbye.
Yep, Ifrit blind spot. That's always fun.
That
Not
fight really is kind of a
confusing.
drag if you can't get to that spot.
It really depends on where your damage is. Because if you have big damage regardless, sometimes it's better to not, just so you can get more DPS faster. Is that go mode?
Nice spindle. Yeah, that's go mode for James.
There's that water mask that was hinted forever ago, I think.
So as we talked about in the beginning of the stream, the total time for the teams is cumulative. So James having their go mode and able to beat the game is going to go finish this off to stop their timer. But we'll be able to get through the credits and come back in to help finish looking for Batty's final piece. If they want to. They could always just make them do it themselves, I guess.
Batty, just stop playing your seed. Log into my seed. That was a really quick Zerion. The power of Plasma Plus. 219 on a non-weak hit. Oh, and it's only getting stronger because of that Shadow Seal.
All that time training while they were in BK finally paying off.
That is exclamation points for Tomberry James. They will be back in the seed shortly because we are still looking for that spindle. For Planeswater. Not Planeswater. Planeswater was yesterday. For Batty Mass Index.
Planeswater's the secret runner we didn't know about the entire time. They're already finished, by the way. That's how good they
They
are.
finished several hours ago. Look, I'm getting Restream bleed. Batty and Planeswater are in the same location on my screen.
I wonder if Batty is kind of starting to count their checks. You know, all right, I need 19 more, 18 more, 17 more.
Honestly, I would be too. Hey, there's that gas mask that we wanted. Oh, never mind.
Never mind. Found it. There we go. Needs
I've
hints.
decided that we don't need to fight this boss anymore. Oh, never mind. We're gonna fight him anyways.
You can't warp shard out of it once you're in it. You have to go through it.
Oh, I forgot you can't warp shard out. Don't worry, it's just Ifrit. Ifrit allergic to light walls, allergic to eye orb, allergic to being sat directly underneath. Bombardments, you know, always good. Ifrit, despite being one of like the final bosses, is surprisingly cheesable. You know, compared to its counterpart, Ravenlord.
In my heart of hearts, I want to believe that James is just sending stuff to mess with Batty at this point. It's just like, just stop sending me stuff. Stop
Minus
sending
half
me
a
traps.
second. Minus half a second. Minus half a second.
Here's this poison trap. Here's the.
Oh no. E.T. just hinted the hairpin when their sash is so accessible.
Yeah, because their hairpin is super late.
Yeah,
So I
it's
think James
the,
got it right before they finished it.
Yeah, it's the Experiment 13 terminal.
Did Batty just not want to use a warp shard? Did they not have any, or is minuing was just
They
too much?
were in the lab sequence. The
Oh,
lab
yeah,
sequence
you
resets
can't.
your warp.
Yeah, you can't until you shut it down. See?
Because I think you can
It's just
warp
a-
out
it
of the
was-
first room. You can't
just-
warp out of boss fights, but you can warp out of the first room of those two checks. But you can't if you're still in the lab sequence, which
Yeah.
clears your warp. There you go, PT. There's your Celestial Sash. As your mere rooms away.
Oh, yeah, almost. Yeah, which is so punishing when you hint and oh, it's literally right in front of me. Curses. All right, Prince Dad for Batty.
Batty has a bleak ring, which I didn't notice.
I think he was gifted a bleak ring.
You can't gift ring.
Oh, could you not? Okay, I thought they were looking at their gift menu.
Now, you can gift a lot of things, but, like, it's limited to most of just your equipment and items. Oh, you got an Azure Stole. Yeah, that'll help. Another 2.5 damage because everything's minus.
Just working the buzzsaw strats.
Slow and steady. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to loop the dad fights, but
All right, double golden idol finish here.
this will be good. This is good for our bombardment. So long as we don't take a death.
It was tactical damage for the Shadow Seal.
The Shadow Seal for our spell.
Hey, you know what? I'm trying here. I'll try to help him out.
They were using Bleak Ring anyways.
I said I'm trying.
Yeah, we're just gonna bombardment down the idol down. It's gonna take a while. Only dealing 36 damage across the 8. Yeah, 8 over the 8, but
You say only 36, but when you have a runner who's been all minus the entire time, those 36 is looking pretty good.
yeah.
Except when you whiff. There it is.
Double exclamation points for Hundo Runners. GG's to Batty Mass Index. And that is Hundo Runners done. Massive GGs to them. That was impressive.
Yeah, very good job.
I mean, I expect nothing less from Batty Mass Index and Tom Barry James. They are fantastic at this game, but the way they were dealing with that all minuses was pretty impressive.
Yeah, not only was execution very, very well done throughout the entire time, but also using the hints, executing, this is what I need to get there, game knowledge, and then just continually finding ways to move. And when you were BK'd, all right, I'm just going to grind levels because I can. Never felt like wasted movement, and it showed at the end.
I'm looking over at the stream right now, and they hardly have any gears.
Yeah. Hi. Hello.
Oh. Hello.
Well, that's poor timing.
That seed was
Sorry, I grabbed you when you weren't paying attention.
Got him.
Looking at the restream right now, so
all over the place. It's
and an early BK.
Yeah, it was early BK the other way for
Really?
PT and Sin.
Yeah, PT explored a lot of the mall caves early, so didn't get their partner out of the pyramid for quite a bit.
Oh boy.
And then never kept going east in the pass to get their sash, so that slowed them down quite a bit too.
Oh no.
I was just starting to try to get one of the green enemies in the pyramid down, slowly but surely. And then I was already out of BK because of the warp.
Yeah, pyramid start all minus. That's exciting.
Yeah. Good thing we remembered the care package.
Yeah.
Yeah, the care package is really helpful when you have an all minus start. And thankfully, Batty has gotten an all minus start during practice before, so he was definitely ready for it.
I am not looking forward to the retribution that comes. That will be knocking on my door for when I finally do one of these races. I have subjected people to some pretty bad seeds.
Random gonna random.
Random will always be random.
That is for sure.
It's okay if you watch that Discord stream too?
Yeah. See why it wouldn't be.
Nice.
So you guys were kind of crushing through that scene pretty well, had plenty of gears, and they slowly kept getting all the equipment, and then finally get access to the military hangar and Dad's tower. Nice double wheel, by the way.
Yeah.
That was
I
fun.
commented on that before. They were practically next to one another.
They were almost in
And I'm
the
a little
exact
disappointed
same
that I only got one Azure Stole from my grinding. But it's a 5-star drop, so it's...
Yeah, 2% drop rate.
fair. I think I killed like 30.
Yeah, so you're still above odds then.
Yeah.
Surely not something you can be too upset about. I mean, when you're starting with best in slots, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not trying to downplay the effect of halved damage the entire seed. That sucks.
It's always hard to commit to the early boss fights because the damage will not get up more quickly, so you probably have to do it anyway in that state with 1 damage, maybe more.
Yeah,
But
you're
it takes so
always
long at the
looking
end.
at only being ever so slightly stronger.
Yeah.
You're never like a
Yeah.
massive amount of like difference, except for when you get that bombardment.
Yeah.
Your big spells are still big. They're just comparatively less big than if they were not minus.
I'm actually wondering now at this point, what actually would have done more damage for Patty? His weapons or his pets? Because in one of my shops, I actually could have just fed Batty his
Dream wisps.
Dream Wisp until he level capped out his pets. Because they're free in my shop.
Yeah, your shops were free. I think it would have been.
Yeah, player one shops were free.
Yeah, I think it would have been pretty time ineffective to do that, considering that you have to go accept them one at a time, use them one at a time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's
You
that.
have to go in and send them one at a time. But yeah, I mean, like, if you were in BK, that'd certainly be a good way to spend your BK. Just go power level Maya for, your familiar of choice.
If the shop had it during BK. But in
No,
my case,
instead
not
you
the
were reduced to farming the evil vines.
Not the evil vines, I would say, but vines.
James, we were commenting at the end of the race when Batty was going through their final fights, and you just kept feeding them items. We were just like, that's got to be the best. Everything in me was like, he's doing this on purpose just to mess with him, and I hope it's right.
Well, he was still needing a few things. I mean, we hadn't gotten Shadow Seal yet.
Yeah. The moment I entered the door, I got the Shadow Seal, and that was perfect. And then I switched to spell damage.
Yeah.
I was still telling Batty, you should probably use Eye Orb with Shadow Seal over Bombardment, since you still hit a lot more, even though the damage is resisted. The amount of damage the amount of hits that you're putting out in general should outweigh the bombardment damage.
They were just excited to see the number 36. They hadn't seen a number that high the entire scene, so.
36 is a pretty big number. I don't blame you, Batty.
243 on Jin's Inferno.
That was also a pretty big number.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Pyro's out of BK with the elevator keycard.
Yep, elevator keycard. Pyro is no longer in BK.
James, do you remember where my B card was? Because B card and lasers are that what Pyro would need them.
The B card was on a terminal download, and the
Yeah, that
tablet
sounds
was
right.
behind burned vines in the present.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was just mixing up the seats. I was player 2.
Yep,
I was.
I messed up. The player 2s are on top for this one. Whoopsies.
Okay.
Ah, okay. I mean, that makes sense because Pleasantly Twisted has the sash, so.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was setting up my screens, I just did them in reverse. Whoops.
That pyramid start with double jump was so nostalgic because I had my muscle memory for 100% once in the pyramid. So I could just avoid all enemies and go with double jump through everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was calming me down a lot. It was a good start to the seat.
Something familiar to calm the nerves. I was pretty happy when I got Pink
safe.
Plus. I'm safe.
Bro,
Close trap. I was too low for the trap, that's why I was clipped back to the beginning at the one floor.
It's always sad when you get thrown across a big room and then get clipped out of bounds and you're just like, no, my time save.
In the library backer room, it really bites when that happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's all one connect, or that one you just kind of get flung through, and then you have to go walk back to still grab the items.
Well, not just that. You get clipped through the small staircase, and you have to run all the way to the left again.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if jumping would help time save that, but
I don't know. Throw traps are a thing of mystery. They're fun.
they're trolly. And you can die to one.
You can die to them, which is the best part about them, in my opinion.
I have actually died to one in an offline seed. I will admit that.
Never be in one-shot range unless you're like really vying for that Shadow Seal damage.
I think the people that run 1 HP mode, I think they died a lot from that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but they don't have to worry about poison traps. It evens out.
Yeah.
Poison traps are whatever for them, and throw traps are lethal. I think it's a fair trade.
It's
agree with
about
that.
it's about balance.
James, do you remember where you got any fire? Because PT doesn't have any.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
They have meatball, don't they?
That's the other one.
No. PT's tracker's on the left.
It was in my castle basement.
Okay.
And
Funny
Infernal
thing is, I
Flames
hinted-
and Spider Hell.
Okay. I hinted for my water mask at some point, and ended up I did not need to go in any check underwater. That was good.
Swimming was bait. Don't need to go there.
And funny thing, the only piece of fire I didn't get was Jin's Inferno, which is in Baddie's world.
Oh.
Courtyard bottom chest.
Not important.
Not important.
Not when you have Plasma Plus, anyways.
So are we not going to talk about the sequence break I ended up doing?
I mean, if you want to.
All right, so where my gas mask was in Baddie's world, it was just too far out of place. And it would have left me in BK mode, and it's like, no. I'm just going to sequence break. I'm going to fight Maw without the gas mask.
Solid
Yeah, and
good.
that ended up being pretty great because you got into that hangar and immediately found your B card as well.
Yes. Which was very beneficial.
I
Like,
have
it's
lot
kind of a
without time
small
stop,
thing, but
so
it ended up being quite massive.
I wonder if they're going to look back at the... I'm kind of hoping they look back at the VOD and see what Baddie and I did, ultimately.
I will go back anyway to watch the commentary. It's
Mhm.
always the fun part.
You can tell I get more awake as the seed goes on.
Yeah, I was getting more awake the longer I was playing, too. I'd only been up for like 15 minutes before we started.
That sounds about right. I was not happy when my alarm went off.
Yeah. I tried to sleep after the last race as well, but it was too bright. and I could not.
Yeah, the fact that the sun was out for me is really what got this stream going, because I was really ready to just go back to sleep.
Oh, they forfeited.
That makes sense.
Sin has had enough.
That is more than fair.
Yeah, that was
More
a
than
pretty
fair.
that was a pretty brutal start, and yeah, the BKs just started stacking up. I think at the end.
All right.
Yeah, that was rough business starting present with. Did you see what I started with?
No, I didn't.
Hello.
We did.
How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Welcome, GG's.
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 Oops,
That
all
was-
minus.
Oops.
I
All.
would say, yeah, RC was
Yeah,
oops, all
Batty had
minus.
that to deal with.
Yeah, because there was oops all minus. It was absolutely terrible. Starting with a hammer with a minus though is a certain level of cruelty.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that
got
is
to
a
start with- I
certain
got to
level of low damage.
I got to start
Yeah.
with blade orb minus, so yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, and then I felt bad because I was like, oh my god, am I really gonna die on boots? And I'm sitting there with my paltry 2 damage. I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna eat it on boots.
I think I had 3 damage by the time I got there, and even still, Boots was pretty normal.
Yeah.
I ate it like a million times in that pyramid because F pyramid stars. Oh my god.
Your
I'd
favorite
like to
starts
say, I'm sorry, it will happen again.
Yeah. This is,
You know
this
what?
is insane,
Whenever
so-
those type of things happen, I say it's my fault because I burnt my good luck elsewhere. So last night I was practicing, and last night when I did a practice run, I got a colossal plus, and I was like, oh, that's a bad omen.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
all minus is pretty fun when you get the package.
Yeah, the care package.
Oh, you were the other player, right?
Yeah. I think too that like that's just the nature of randos because depending on which way you start, it's either gonna go really well or really sideways.
I just got to the point where when I was in BK mode, I was just like grinding my orb levels because I was like, if I'm gonna be dealing with oops all minus, I might as well get a little bit of extra damage in while I can.
Right. That's what I did early on because I had started and I literally was just like, okay, I see where I can go. And I looked and I was like, I can go 3 places and then I can swim. Oh, I BK'd so early. I was like, well,
I also
That's how-
BK'd so early, and once I got out of BK, I never got back in.
see, I think you and I BK'd at the same spot where you BK'd because of water mask.
Yep.
Yep.
And I hinted for water mask immediately because I knew I needed it.
I looked
I
it up
could-
and I didn't have enough points.
Oh, really? Oh,
I was short 2 points for the hint, and I was like, well, I guess I'll beat up Roombas.
Wait, then that means you still had tech somewhere. Because
Oh.
I
Yes, thank you for
It was-
reminding me. It is
Oh.
tricky, but with Maw flooded high, you can jump out of the water and just barely grab the ledge to jackpot room.
I figured that out, and I looked and I was like, I have to find the sweet spot, and I was like, I'm not gonna keep wasting time. I will just come back later.
yeah, I got that
When
sweet
you're
spot
missing
first
2
try.
points and that room has 4 checks, though.
I know. I know. It actually. Oh my gosh.
Water mask was also needed, by the way, for taking on the final boss in the
Stop.
player 1 side.
Yep.
See, I only started to lose my fervor when I was like, you know what? Let me see where my succubus hairpin is, and it said player 2 lab, and I was like, you know what?
You know what?
That was
Never needed it.
gross. That was
Never needed it.
I was like, well, so I looked up succubus mask, and I was like, not succubus mask, a succubus hairpin, and was like, okay, labs, that's garbage. And then I looked up celestial sash, and I was like, if I can get sash, I don't care about hairpin.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh,
Sash
your
was an
game,
easy
green
pickup.
platform. I was like, I'm going there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say you don't need hairpin, but when you have Ravenlord hanging out in a nasty spot, hell, when you have
Oh.
Ravenlord hanging out anywhere,
That was actually what prompted me to hint for my pin. Because I got Ravenlord, he flew to the top right, and I just stared at it, and I was like, let me exit out. I'm not gonna sit here and tilt on this rando. I'm gonna exit out and let me find my stuff.
Yeah, once I got to Ravenlord, I had Plasma Plus, and it's like, this is all I need.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that seed was
If you have
good.
Plasma Plus at all, you can pretty much just use that for the whole seed. Weaknesses, resistance, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, Plasma Plus already inheriting, the plus at least double damage, also gets an additional buff of, I think, another 50% extra damage. So it deals a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think this is a good way of me realizing too. I need to figure out my combinations better, because I remember watching some at midnight and being like, oh, I didn't know about these combinations. And then other things, I was like, I have to be willing to experiment. That was something that was really nice. It forced me to experiment a lot.
One thing you could also learn is orb swapping if you have not done that before.
I actually was thinking about that a little bit, and I was just like, oh, I can do some of the orb swap, because shout outs to Wef. Wef was teaching me a little bit because I'm baby.
We love Wef.
Yeah.
I mean, I've made that more commonplace from learning 100% rando, 100% in general. So, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It's just.
And then we discovered that Eye Orb is completely busted with orb swapping.
I actually saw that last night. Eye Orb, and I think it was what, Bleak Ring?
Eye Orb,
Yes,
Bleak
it
Ring,
just
Eye
stacks
Orb,
up
Shadow
insanely
Seal.
fast.
Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. But
But
yeah,
with
I had
all
fun.
minus,
Oh my god.
full stacked Bleak Ring, Eye Orb was at 16 per hit.
Oh, that's
Oh,
they're so
So
good.
it
Big
still took a
16
while.
damage.
Yeah. As soon as I got double digit numbers, though, I was just happy. I was like, you know what? Nothing else matters. I at least can hit now.
Yeah.
And getting early, like, nice robes and stuff helped out too, because otherwise I was getting hit like a truck. And I was like, this can't keep happening. I can't get hit for 20 and do 2 damage. Please help. Help. Please help.
Yeah, I didn't realize until after I had died like 6 times in the pyramid that I actually had like a full package in my inventory. So I was like, oh, well, that was nice to know.
Yeah, once you notice you have two minus orb starts, then you should definitely check to see if you have a care package.
Care package, bad omen, whatever you want to call it. It's a sign that your damage is going to be low at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun though. I will say that.
Yeah,
I had
it
a
was
lot
a ton of fun. I didn't expect oops all minus, and I was like, y'all, it's 6 a.m. Please be nice to me.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm glad I was actually player 1 this time around. Then again, I would have liked to play around with Oops All Minus. I haven't had that happen to me yet.
I just go force it in a YAML. It is quite interesting getting that starting care package. It's a fun dynamic. And I know Wef is proud of that one. It's fun.
Well, Wef's in the chat, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the chat laughing at us.
Of course he's laughing at us. What else would Wef be doing?
And he said he wouldn't be up for this.
Yeah,
He showed
okay,
up
so
like
I didn't
halfway
make that
through.
up. That was something real that was said. Okay, cool.
He showed up like halfway through.
Sitting there drumming the fingers of evil, just being like, yes, suffer.
Doing that whole, hands together with his fingers going, oh yeah.
I had a good time. This is a good way to spend my Saturday morning.
Yeah, I could definitely think of worse ways to spend my Saturday.
For
Yeah,
sure.
certainly.
I love
Definitely.
I love playing Timespinner, so I'm always happy to play it whenever I can.
Well, GG's everyone. Good job, other team. Good job, Sin. We tried our best.
Yeah.
But
It
you're
was
not
getting
out just
abused.
yet. It is double
What's that?
elim, so you guys will be going up against the winners of Video Dams and Trash Island Soda Co.
Oh,
Oh my
no.
god, that name is
Oh,
fantastic.
no. Trash. I know everyone. I know both the guys in Trash Island Soda Co. And this is if we wind up playing against them, this is going to be hilarious.
It'll be fun.
Sensational.
It'll be fun. I am super excited to see how this tournament goes, and it is so hard to keep track of everything, but it is so fun.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Wishlist Timespinner 2.
Wishlist time
Wishlist
spinner
time-
too.
Yes,
Timespinner
wish
2.
list Timespinner 2.
If you somehow don't own Timespinner 1, please correct that immediately.
Yes, correct that.
If you saw anything you liked here, whether it was, Batty and Sin suffering with Orb Minus, or, the gameplay in general, or even like the thought of playing a multi-world yourself, get Timespinner. Fantastic game. And it's got all of these things.
The randomizer is very well integrated into the base game as well.
Yes, it is. Excellent. This is the first rando I ever did, and this is what got me on the rando train. And I was like, I live here now.
I can
Nice.
think of worse places to live.
Yeah, I mean, my alternative is living in Dark Souls rando, and I can say with conviction I don't recommend that.
Nope.
I don't recommend that.
Nope.
I can agree with that. I've played my fair share of Dark Souls, so I'm not looking forward to trying a rando of it.
Oh, it's a journey. Few
Also,
things say love as much as starting with a first boss pontiff.
Also, hi Talon, fancy seeing you here.
Hello.
I feel like we just met.
Yeah, we just met a while ago.
Yeah,
A different world.
different
a different
world.
time.
Me and Talon race in ALTTP.
PT document.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, what
Yeah,
about
no.
me? PT? Huh?
No,
Document. I'm
Taylor.
just seeing your feed.
Yeah, I figured since we're chilling and we forfeited, I was like, well, I'm gonna just keep running around if that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? I'd make a stream bigger too. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, I was saying if we're gonna sit here and chill for a little bit, y'all can watch me suffer just like on the one version. I promise I'm not that bad. I just when I started and I died, I did kind of give myself a little bit of the oh god, what am I doing stare.
Hey, look,
But,
I've done my fair share of suffering in randomizers, and this was suffering, but it was actually suffering I could tolerate. So
Yeah.
I look forward to participating in this tournament again at some point.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll definitely hop on this again. Maybe
Well, the next tournament that should be coming up, maybe, I'm hoping so anyway, should be Speed Gaming Live 2024.
Yeah. Generally, we do one in the fall for SG Live.
Yeah, I look
Okay.
forward to that.
the fall will be
Which
dope
won't
too.
be Archipelago, but we could have some new things come up for it.
That
Yeah, like torches.
Torches.
Lantern!
Torches.
lanterns and torches. I'd be shocked if those were enabled. I think those are fun for like single player, like non-competitive, but like, we'll see how
Yeah,
the
well,
votes roll out.
It might be a little too crazy for SGL.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
I saw
It's
some of the
definitely-
documentation and conversation around that yesterday a little bit. People talking about, oh, you could put stuff in lanterns. And I was like, oh, I might not be built differently the way I thought. Oh no.
It's fine. You just run around with scythe ring equipped.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you get it.
I was like, if you get it.
Suddenly Scythe Ring becomes the best.
Right?
Somehow. It took torches to make Scythe Ring useful. No, Wef.
Wef,
hate
don't
Red
remind me
Spy.
of that.
No, I spy.
I
Yeah,
did
Yeah,
not
they
vote
got
for that, and I
I-5.
hated it the entire tournament.
I hated it.
I
too.
did not.
I would like to
Nah,
ask
you
the
get
newbie
outta here.
question. What is the I
Get out of
spy
my
thing?
VC.
Yeah, the I Spy is when the breakable walls aren't breakable until you find the Oculus Ring.
Oh yeah, 0 out of 10. I never turn that down on purpose. 0 out of 10.
It was
Every
fun
Look,
trying
I
it for
deliver.
a tourney.
Okay, so look, when I ran Timespinner at Power Up with Pride, I deliberately went with SGL settings minus I Spy for a reason.
when we did the like multi-world after party, outside of also testing the prison break stuff, I deliberately turned that off in my YAML.
Yeah, I don't ever run I Spy in my multis either. I will run a bunch of random stuff in my multis, but I will not run I Spy.
I was
The
gonna
only
say,
time the only time I will tolerate I Spy is if I do a yellow seed. That is it.
Well, when you're doing it YOLO seed, you know what you're signing up for. All
Yeah.
minuses,
Yeah.
all minuses, pyramid start, you know, the works.
I was gonna say, I won't do the I Spy, but my wild card of choice was, that's how Wef found me. I did this on GDQ, and I was like, "Ooh, there's an enemy randomizer. I'd wonder what that's like." So that was a mistake.
Oh, that's fun stuff. That's the good stuff.
Oh, enemy rando's great. The work
Randomizer is great.
Anything with Randomizer, I'm down. That sounds wonderful.
but
Oh yeah,
I will never, ever, ever do Oops All Risha ever again.
Oh, that's
Thank
always
God
a
that got
mistake. Like,
taken
you'll come back to it. You'll think, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I remember it, and
Oh,
it
no,
is
no, no. Okay,
exactly
it
as
is.
bad as
It
you
is.
remember it.
My YAMLs for Timespinner are set up to have a very, 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 very small chance of having Risha, so it could happen.
all I know is that I started with the Oops All Enemies one, and the first thing I ran into was the it's not a kitsune, but it has a kitsune mask. That was the first enemy I saw in the entire game, and I was like, I have made mistakes.
Oh, Kane.
Kane, yeah.
Pain, yeah.
Oh,
I literally on the GDQ channel said I have made mistakes, and then dropped an F-bomb, and then the tech was like, "You survived 8 minutes in the stream before you messed up." And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm terrible. I'm the worst person ever." Oh, but yeah, good times, great times. I'm gonna keep
Fun
playing this probably just to see where some of this stuff is. Or I might hit you with a smooth exclamation point release. I still just can't believe I saw that moment of like, "Oh, your Succubus hairpin? Yeah, it's in the labs." And I'm like, wow,
Succubus hairpin? What
wow.
hairpin? Never heard of it.
Wow. Actual, have you ever seen what hatred looks like? Because I think it's that.
Last race, I did not have TPKs, and I hinted for it as soon as I could, and they were in Emperor's Tower in my world.
Yep.
So then I knew this seed is. I was sure what will happen now. So that was the good part of it.
It wasn't like in way up there, was it?
No, it was pretty early, and I didn't need it at all. I could just use the Timespinner in Gens's lab.
Yeah, that's still gross though. Especially like you're going through the whole game and you don't get to warp anywhere.
Yeah.
I do feel better now that I've beat up Maw. I'm not gonna front.
Always.
There's something about Maw
Always
dying.
feels
I was
better.
like, that's satisfactory. This is fine.
I told PT, I was like, I was gonna do Maw out of logic, but then I saw Zeri in there and I was like, no.
I
That's
did the
No.
mod fight out of logic, actually. I will say that right now.
Yeah,
My gas mask would have been too far away, and it's like, I don't want to be locking BK again. I'm just going to go out of logic.
The one out of logic that I entertained, and I was like, I don't think I actually have enough juice for that, was it would have been, I think it would have been normal Raven Lord, but I didn't have gas mask. And so,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I think I can muscle through it. I saw it go down and I felt myself punk out. I was like, nah, turn around. You're not built like that. You're too tired for this. Go back. You cannot
Too
do that out
sleepy.
of logic.
Can't do that right now.
No, too
Check back
sleepy.
later.
But then I did the Aliana fight out of logic, and that was a choice. That was a real choice.
I will
So-
say, I believe you have a Blood Orb Plus in your inventory. That'd be doing a lot of damage right now.
Yeah.
Would it really?
Alana's weak to
So-
dark.
Yeah,
So,
so
Blood Orb
first of all, Alana
is,
is weak to the Blood Orb element, which is like, I think it's
Dark damage.
Chaos or Dark. Whatever. I typically just call it the evil element.
Okay.
Blood Orb
See-
Plus is
But
surprisingly
Plus Orbs
good.
also deal, on average, double damage. Plasma
So I
and
was
Gun
gonna-
Plus deal like double plus another 50% damage.
So part of it too is, truth be told, I'm still carrying the logic of vanilla gameplay with me. And
Oh.
so yeah, like I literally hop into randos and I'm just like YOLO, whatever. And oh hey, there's a fire orb I could have used like 20 years ago. And literally, I'm so used to like playing the vanilla game and being like, I hate the gun orb, I hate the blood orb, I hate XYZ orb, and then I forget that the plus and minuses are there because I'm also used to not playing with plus and minus. And so, oh, but trust, Colossal Minus, I definitely felt that.
Yeah.
I definitely felt
In
that.
general, unless you have a really, really good reason not to be using a plus orb, you're turning down double damage.
This is good intel for me to know. It will make me a better teammate. And now I'm playing it with the blood orb just to see, and I don't have on my camera, but there's a specific salty face the wine cellar has come to appreciate with me. And if winos are here watching, yeah, I'm holding that face right now, don't worry. Oh my god. Yeah. Sin, I'm so sorry. I'm trash.
You're fine. We're playing this.
Randomizers are all
fun.
about learning.
We're playing this for fun. It's okay.
Yeah, this is
I
for
know.
fun.
I had a great time still though. Like I said, I like learning about this stuff a lot. It makes me very, very happy to just be like, oh, I didn't know these things. I was just happy when the day came that I learned how to do light wall skips and stuff.
I will say that one of my low-key favorite orbs ever to get, if it rolls plus, is Nether Orb. I love Nether
Oh,
Orb.
Nether
you
plus,
like
yeah.
you like the
Portals?
collision
Yes.
effect
Yes.
when it hits a projectile. Yeah.
Like
That's
if you
always
get,
good.
it's always funny if you get someone like Elano or Cantorin in a late spot and you get to their second phase where they're doing their whole ultimate attack and you just spam the Nether orbs and it's just like melting them.
I love
That's
a good
always fun.
Lamau moment of just looking at them and being like, yeah, that's a thing that's happening now. Yeah, this actually feels, this whole setup. Now I'm just curious because you said don't skip out on the pluses. So I'm just like, what about? Oh my god.
Oh,
I
you just
tried
hit
the
something with plasma, huh?
I just tried out the Plasma Plus, and yeah, that's actually disgusting.
So most orbs get double damage. Plasma gets double and then some damage. Gun also gets double and then some because they're admittedly a bit weaker.
In Gun's place, it actually doesn't benefit from most damage boosting rings. So it needs that little extra oomph.
Yep, and an extra oomph it has. Big damage.
The
I still
only
don't like
thing
personally use it if I'm walking around, but like boss that's weak to sharp damage, yeah, meet the gun orb.
I think the only thing that will even damage boost gun orb is just the star.
And do you really need more than the star vacuum? Like when you go from dual wielding to triple wielding, I mean, what's better than 2 guns? 3 guns.
3 guns.
Listen, when it said here's your third orb, I'm like, oh, I know what that means at least. Give me that. Give me that right
More
now.
damage.
I would like more smacks with the face, please. I will say that as of today, though, I think I might do my randos moving forward with plus and minus on.
Would absolutely recommend it. It'll teach you what orbs you'll like more, because you'll be inclined to use those plus and minuses, or you'll be inclined to use the pluses and avoid the minuses.
Yeah. Also, shout outs to this seed anyway, because your girl still does not have any sand. There's no sand.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the wheels.
The
Those
wheels,
are a
they're
treat.
located in the vaguely
Those
the
are in
same
player
room.
1. Yeah, those are in player 1 Dad Sour. So
Both of them.
They're
One's in a
where?
memory, and the other one's in the breakable floor right next to the memory.
Yeah, they're both in the same room in Dad's tower.
I blame Wef for this.
Dad was hoarding wheels.
Yeah, when all else fails, just blame Wef.
Yeah, I will say, I think that this is Wef's fault. That you.
I'm
put
glad
the
it's not
thing
my
I
fault.
need so, you said.
Hey, wait.
Hey, wait. No, it was funny until a moment
Wait, you're still
ago.
here, Wef? I love my teammate. Wef's my teammate.
When will you play? Is there a date already?
We don't have a date set.
So you said this is double elim, so there's no like loser brackets and stuff?
Well, that's exactly what it means. Loser bracket.
Okay.
Double elim means there is a loser's bracket.
That's what
It's
I
not
thought.
single.
I
It's
was
not
gonna
single
say-
You got a
elimination,
second
it's
chance.
double.
You're like I said earlier, you're up against the winner of Video Dames or Trash Island Sodaco.
Really, I
just
love
love
both.
the
I
name
love
Trash
both of those
Island.
names. I love both of those.
They're
names.
great. I've loved seeing the team names. There's a lot of fun ones.
Is Video Dames a Waffle Soups group?
Waffle
I know it's
Soups,
Lady Bun and Vera.
Lady Bun, and
Okay, that's what I
Vera.
watched. That's what I watched a little bit of last night. Their seat yesterday was outrageously fast.
That it was. And I'm very happy it was. It gave me plenty of time to sleep. A whole 4.5 hours.
Hey, that's what I'm running on. Felt that deeply.
Thank you for doing all that.
But yeah, I remember seeing their seat last night. I watched it for a little bit, and then I was like, oh, it'll be 2 hours, so I'll leave probably at like the 1 hour marker. Meanwhile, they both clear in like a smooth, what was it? I think 45 and 54 minutes.
Yeah, it was so crazy. The final sequence item was awesome too.
I think the best part was seeing the reaction for everyone when they realized that they were on dat %.
That was great. the delayed done from Bun and Urza clearing Sandman and Nightmare location only to get kicked out was really
Yes. That was actually hilarious. Because, yeah, I saw Sandman proc, and I was like, oh, okay, they're getting ready to finish. And then I saw it reload, and I'm sitting at my desk, because when you're a viewer, of course, you catch all of it quickly, versus when you're playing and you don't think of anything. And as soon as it reloaded, I was like, like audibly at my desk. It was like, oh, it's dat %. They didn't even need their stuff. It's dat %. And you can
Yeah,
see the
I wasn't
difference.
looking, and all of a sudden I
And
looked
the
back and I was like, wait,
You can
wait,
test
did he
that
die?
%.
What'd you say for what'd you say about
You
that?
can actually check for dat %.
Yeah, the map will
actually,
glow green on your goal room.
I actually was looking at that when I was doing my seat just now, because when I was looking around, I took a quick peek at Pyramid to see if it was gonna have blinking to it, and I was like, okay, it's actual end. It's the actual end. We're good. I know what my
Yeah,
goal
the,
is.
the odds are low, but they're
That
never
was
zero.
hilarious, bro. That was absolutely hilarious. Just watching everyone stop to be like, wait, huh? It's like, yeah, you're on dat %, and everyone just immediately beelines. Where's this
Yeah,
thing?
what is the exact chance? I think it might be like 5 or
5%.
Wow, that's sensational.
Yeah, 5%.
That's sensational.
It's
Okay,
great.
I'm gonna be the first on Who's That Guy, but I'm fat and hungry, so I'm gonna go. GG's
Oh,
everyone.
that's
I'm out of here.
Oh, this is the
GGs.
official 2 hour marker. I'm gonna go
GGs.
make myself breakfast officially. Oh, hang on, who's playing more? Tom Berry's
That
back in
sounds-
the game too.
Yeah, I was loading up a practice seed that I was just using for warm up.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this was fun. Thank you so much for having me. And then, yes, we'll schedule our next seat and stuff. And perhaps by then I will be less scrubby. And I know that we're playing for fun, but I still want to be like at least somewhat okay at it.
And hopefully we'll both be a little less busy too.
Yeah, that helps as well. Because I only got, I think, 2 practice seeds in. Because I did one practice seed where I actually started with a gun orb. And I was like, I hate everything. I hate everything. But then, like, this was, I'll share this and then I'm gonna head out. The practice seed I did solo was the wildest seed ever because everything for player 2 was just sitting in my game. Every single go mode check for me was in their game. So I have a screen cap of my tracker and everything I have. I made it to 119 checks before I BK'd. And the only reason I BK'd is because I needed elevator key and I had none of my 5 needs. I was like, this is disgusting. This is foul. But I hit like a truck, let me tell you. Alright, well thanks for the runs, y'all. I am gonna see y'all around later.
Yep.
Have a
Bye,
good
Everyone
y'all.
take care. GG's.
Have a good one, everyone.
GG's.
Bye bye.